Hi everyone, welcome to my craft room. My name is Laura and on this channel I share crafts, hauls, and more. If these are topics that interest you, I sure hope that you subscribe, become part of my YouTube family so I can get to know you as well. And with all that said, let's have some fun. Today I'll be joining in the Nautical Open Challenge hosted by Amanda from 6 Kids and a Glue Gun, Missi from Crafty Cove, Emily from Farm Charm Chic, and Lisa from Our Gray House. For this challenge, we are to make 3 or more nautical DIY pieces. And the Dollar Tree is carrying the nautical crafting supplies right now with all the different shapes and whatnot. So I just knew that this challenge was going to be so much fun, and it was. So I'm just going to get started with DIY number 1. I purchased this big heavy bag of kindling from my Albertson store a couple years ago. It's been sitting in the garage. I finally opened it up and lo and behold, there was these wood slats in there, some paneling, and some dowels. But anyway, I will be using some slats for this DIY. Now you can also use the 5-gallon paint sticks for this project. I'm sure that would work fine. I'll also be using that Watch Me Whip sign from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to pop off that applique there, and it came off in one whole piece, so I'll be using that in a DIY, I'm sure. So I'm just going to stick that into my stash. So I also painted the boards ahead of time just to save time in my video. I used the colors Lagoon, Ocean, Pool, Crystal, and Dutch Aqua. And I'll be painting that square sign with the color Nimbus. I also just mixed some ocean and white for one of those slats just to mix it up just a bit. So I sanded down that Watch Me Whip sign, and then I painted that with a couple coats of the color Nimbus. And here's a better view of all the different colors once they were all painted up. And then I kind of just laid them out to how I wanted my colors, to be. I just kind of, played around till I got it the way I liked it. And then I just kind of stacked them up, put those aside, and then I'll be working on that little square sign for now. So you'll want to remove that kickstand from the back of this sign because we'll be gluing that down to the slats. So we don't want to get that to get in the way. And then I cut out the words, the lighthouse of the Lord beckons to all as we sail through the seas of life. And I used the Dollar Tree vinyl. I really wanted to use this color, but I do have to say it was a challenge. I did have better luck with the vinyl than I have in the past. I used the setting between the paper and the vinyl, and I have a Cricut Explorer 2, and so that setting worked better for me, but it just was hard to work with, and the vinyl didn't hold up so well with small lettering as it did with the big lettering. So yeah, just kind of keep that in mind. I know all cutting machines are not the same, but this was my experience. So there I'm just kind of fixing one of the letters, and that was it for this little sign. Then I took these old signs that I got either last year, the year before, or probably both from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to pop off those appliques, keeping those for future DIYs, of course, as well as the ribbon that was stapled down. So I just cleaned up these boards, and I'm going to use these to glue all my slats together. So I took my stack and I just flipped them over, and then I'll just glue those boards right to that. Now, funny, I kind of thought, okay, I'm going to be very, time conscious, and I'm going to glue all my boards and, get them all ready. And then I'm just going to use my hot glue, Yeah, thought I was just, ahead of the game. Well, if you haven't noticed yet, I should have glued the other side of these boards, and then I wouldn't have to cover the back side of this sign. So yeah, next time I'll be sure to do that. So yeah, do you see what I mean? If I would have glued the other side down, it would have looked better from the back side. But I won't be giving this sign away or selling it. So, no one's going to look behind my sign at my house. Well, I hope not anyway. So anyway, I'm just going to take these boards and I'm going to glue them down, glue all these slats together, and it held up really well. Now this is kind of heavy, so I will not be using a hanger on this. I'll just be leaning it against a wall. And then I'm going to take the galvanized shaped lighthouse sign. I removed the hanger from it, and to hide the hole where the hanger was, I'm going to take a thumbtack and just snip off the pointy part of it and then glue that thumbtack right to that hole. And it just added a little detail to that galvanized lighthouse. And here I was flipping it back and forth, trying to decide, do I want the windows indented or pop, if I wanted them popped out. And I decided that it would sit flatter on my slats if I used the pop out facing up. I think you can use it either way. And then I took one of those adorable sailboat clips and I just removed that clip from behind. It just pops off. And I'm going to glue that right to that square sign right to the left hand bottom corner, just like so. And here's the slats from the front. I'm going to glue that plaque right to the right side, the lighthouse to the left, and then I'm going to take the starfish and this shell, and I'm just going to glue those right down to the bottom of this sign, and this sign was done. If you have not checked out these beautiful creators' channels yet, I would invite you to do so. I did link the channels in my description box on this video. Go check them out. They are not only beautiful people, but they are amazing creators. You are going to be amazed. If you are looking for lots of talent, lots of inspiration, you will definitely find it in these channels for sure. So yeah, okay, I'm rambling again. DIY number 2. For DIY number 2, I'll be using a shadow box from the Dollar Tree. This one says thankful and blessed. It's a little marked up, but that's okay. I'm just going to pop that back off. I only want to use the frame for this DIY. And then this garland that the Dollar Tree just came out with has these little wooden anchors hanging from it, little like anchor charms. I took 2 of them off. I did only end up using 1. So here I'm just going to pop off that sawtooth hanger, and then I took my razor scraper and I just kind of wedged it in there, and then it just popped out nicely. And then from the back side, it did have some paper glued on there, and it was a little messy, so I just used an emery board and just sanded away the paper, and then I took a wood carving tool and just scraped it along the edge where that backing was glued onto that frame. And then I had these hanging shelves from the Dollar Tree. They come 2 in a pack, and I already had cut these down for a project that I had done in the past. So these were just scrap pieces of wood, and now I'm going to mark right in the center the same distance that the pre-drilled holes are in those planks. I'm just going to drill on or mark onto the frame the same distance, and I'm going to hang that plank on the inside of this frame. So here I'm just going to mark it, and then I just took a 1/8 drill bit and just drilled my holes right into that frame. So like I said before, I used that wood carving tool to scrape out any glue or paper that I could get out of that frame. There was some nails there, so I just kind of had to go around the nails and just did the best that I could. And I used that emery board also to, sand off any paper as well. And then I wanted to paint up the wood anchor that I took off of that garland. I just took the same colors that I used in the first DIY, and I just painted up some stripes onto this anchor. And then I took a larger anchor that I'll be using on the back side of this sign, and I painted that up as well using the same color scheme as the first DIY, and they came out so cute. And I've got to tell you, this was so relaxing to me. I just took my time, and it was just so relaxing to paint this up. I didn't film me applying my wording onto that sign that I painted with the Nimbus color, the plank. I had a struggle with the vinyl from the Dollar Tree. The larger fonts, it cut just fine, but the smaller wording, not so much. So anyway, here it is here. Family is the anchor that holds us together through life's storm. And then I'm just going to glue that small anchor right to the left-hand bottom corner, just like so. If you don't have a cutting machine, you can always use stickers, stencils, rub-on transfers, or if you have good handwriting, you can just freehand it. And if you do have good handwriting, I envy you. So now I want to hang this sign finally. I'm going to take that twine that came with those hanging shelves, and I'm just going to add some tape to the end so I can get it through the hole, starting from the top, working my way down, and then from behind the sign towards the front, because I want the knot to be in the front of the sign. And so I'm just going to knot it in the front, knot it on the top, repeat that on the other side, making sure that, they are level, that the sign hangs evenly. And this sign didn't want to hang so well, I think because those pre-drilled holes were down too far. So what I did is I turned it over and I just added just a tad bit of glue onto the twine, like on the back side, and just a tiny bit of glue. And that's what I'm doing here. You will not be able to see the glue at all. And that helped tremendously. So once I got that glued down, just a tiny bit of glue, I can't stress enough, so you don't see it. And then I'm just going to glue the larger anchor right to the back side, so I have a double-sided hanging sign. Moving on to DIY number 3, I'll be making a sunken treasure chest table decor. I seen something similar on Amazon, but it was an actual jewelry box that you can use, but mine will just be for decoration purposes only. So I'm going to take 2 different sizes of crates from the Dollar Tree, 1 tray, and the treasure chest shaped jewelry box, all from the Dollar Tree. And I painted the smaller crate and the tray with the color Crystal by Waverly. I painted the larger crate with the white by Waverly, and I painted the treasure chest with the color Nimbus with a little bit of dry brushing of the Crystal. You can't really see it in this clip, but it does have just a little bit of detail. And so I've already painted them up and ready to go. I want to add some rope handles to these crates, and the tray and the larger crate already had the opening cut into the wood, but the smaller crate didn't have any holes in it. So what I did is I took a large drill bit and I tried to drill holes in the sides of that small crate, and oh my goodness, I was using a dull drill bit, which I don't know, it should have been thrown away. Don't know why it was in the tools, but anyway, I was a little bit frustrated because once the drill went inside, I was pressing so hard that it shattered into a million pieces. So my husband was so kind enough to drill some holes in a new crate for me, and I just painted that up and was ready to go. Oh my goodness, what a disaster that was. Yeah, using drills, make sure that your drill bits are nice and sharp. I kind of did this backwards. I should have added the glue to the inside of the crate and not the rope, but you know, live and learn, or craft and learn, as I say. So here I'm just gluing the inside of one end to the crate, and the crate will be upside down, so we won't be able to see the glue from the inside. So there I'm just cutting it down to size and then glued the other end inside the tray. So I repeated that on the other side, and then the same process on all of the other pieces, except for the jewelry box, of course. Thank you, Amanda, Emily, Lisa, and Missi for hosting this Nautical Open Challenge this month. I had so much fun creating these, and I know I'm going to have so much fun watching the playlist. So yeah, everyone go watch that playlist and show everyone some love.
As a young girl, the fields were mine. We played hide and seek for hours, raised our shadows among the pines.
Once I have my handles attached, now I'm going to glue all the wood pieces together, and I don't want them straight up and down. I want them kind of offset from one another, as if these crates and this chest, this treasure chest, sunk to the bottom of the ocean bed, and that's where it lays today, you know, with bubbles coming. Okay, oh wait, okay, my imagination's getting way ahead of me. You know what I mean, not straight up and down, you know, kind of like if they landed there, you know, organically. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of glue. I'm just using some Gorilla Glue for this. I'm not gonna be moving this around too much around my home, and I'm not gonna be selling it or giving it away, so I think it'll hold up just fine. So that's all I'm gonna use to glue these together, and then I'll start embellishing.
Shadows among the pines, so offshore, playful and free, without a care in the world.
The Dollar Tree just came out with this beautiful ribbon. It looks like netting to me, so I thought, wow, this would be really great to use on this project. I'll be using the ivory color. They also had tan, white, and green, I believe. So here I'm just going to start from the top, and I'm just going to glue the inside there using my handy dandy butter knife, so I don't burn my fingers. And on this ribbon, there's not many places to use glue to tack this down. So I did try to use the Elmer's glue stick at one point, and that wasn't working. But every so often there's like a solid piece of material on this netting, so I just use those spots to use my hot glue. And there I am trying to attempt to use that glue, and yeah, with no avail. So yeah, every now and then there was just, like I said, this solid piece, and that's just what I used, just to use a dab of glue. And then once I got to the bottom, I cut that off, and then I added another layer, layering it not, you know, kind of offset to make the netting look as if it was wider, you know, covering more surface of that. And that worked out perfect because I was able to stick some shells in between those two pieces of ribbon, you know, as if the shells were just caught in that netting.
Kidnap me, take me back, all the way back to them days, running around in a gown and a crown, barefoot.
Once I got to the top of the jewelry box with this last strand of ribbon, I just stuffed it all inside that jewelry box, and it bulked it up a little bit so I don't have to fill it up with so many items. So now I'm just going to glue that down. And I have these pearls that came from the toy section at the Dollar Tree that I'll be adding. I just stuffed those in there as well, leaving some strands out, you know, draping down out on the outside of the treasure chest. And I propped that treasure chest, the lid open, so it didn't shut all the way, as if it was, you know, stuffed and, you know, the water was pulling the lid up. So yeah, I absolutely love the way that this came out. I hope you all love it too. I found this driftwood at the Dollar General, I think last year if I'm not mistaken, and I finally get to use it. What a perfect project to use driftwood on, right? So yeah, I just pulled out some pieces and I added that one to the front. I believe I added one inside the treasure chest. So yeah.
No mistake ever kept me late. We spent summers catching fireflies and winters on our skates.
I had so much fun embellishing the sunken treasure chest. I can't even tell you. I just played around with it, just made it to my liking. And this is so customizable because, you know, you can, if you would like to make one, you can embellish it any way, you know, any colors, if you like the brighter colors. So yeah, here's the final reveal. What do you all think? I love that treasure chest. I think it's adorable. I have it sitting on a riser. And here is the lighthouse of the Lord, beckons to all as we sail the seas of life. Isn't that so true? I love lighthouses. I have all my life. I'm drawn to them. So yeah, so here's that treasure chest again. I love it. I absolutely love it. And that Gorilla Glue really held up on those crates, I must say. It is a pretty solid piece. So there's the inside. Now mine are, you know, a lot of neutral colors, but if you would like to make one, like I said, you can use brighter tones if you would like. So anyway, so there's that. And then up above, I have in my little shadow box, the hanging sign. Family is the anchor that holds us through life's storms. Wow, another true quote. I love these quotes. They're not mine. I Googled them. So yeah. Anyway, again, thanks everyone. Oh, and before I go, I wanted to show you this. This was my late mother-in-law's. We inherited it, and there's that lighthouse. Like I said, I am really, truly drawn to lighthouses. Don't know why. So isn't that a beautiful piece? It's just absolutely beautiful. The camera is not doing it justice at all. So I just wanted to incorporate that and, you know, talk a little bit, you know, about my mother-in-law, a little memory there. So, okay, with all my rambling, thanks again, and I will talk to everyone in my next video. Bye for now.